Alright folks, so we have a little quintet here at Forge Wrestling Jiu-Jitsu. Solid school out in Holbrook. So just a little time lapse here of everybody kind of rolling in, getting ready for this match, this event. So this is a 5v5 submission only in the gi. I'm only doing the voiceover because it was requested by one of my guys, so I'm just going to do this for him. If you don't want to listen to my voiceover or my analysis or whatever narration, go ahead and hit mute. We're kicking off the 5v5 submission only, no points. I think it's IBJJF rule set, so there's like a lot of leg locks that you can't do and reaping and stuff. But the other team decided, the other school put together 10 guys, so 2 quintet teams for our guys to fight. So that was like a good simulation of what's coming up in a few weeks. We do have a real sanctioned event coming up where we're doing a 5v5. So let's get right to it. Our blue belt is fighting their purple belt here. Props to all the competitors and the guys who came out yesterday to do this event. Right now we have what looks like some kind of interesting position here. Gotta watch the back take there. Can't reach across. It's interesting the bottom guy didn't put Trevor's back on the mat, like to the backside there. I think he's trying to peek out and get behind Trevor, which he's getting there. Then he puts Trevor's back on the mat and kind of comes up and mount. Interesting exchange there. It was definitely kind of weird how that started. But the primary issue was Trevor let the guard player get under. One of the biggest things that's happening for a guard player is getting up or getting under, and using the dilemma there to generate force to destabilize top player during those processes. We got a little cross grip here. No matter how many times I survive a cross grip or, deal with a lapel grip, they always spook me. I always get spooked, especially when it gets under the chin. So, I don't know. I was wondering if we were going to see a huge collar drag there, because it looked like it was all primed up, but we didn't get a collar drag. Now we're playing like a seated guard with a belt grip, but the guy's head position is actually beating Trevor's. He's getting his head under Trevor's chin and keeping Trevor on the outside. Now Trevor's getting inside with his hand, and now he's inside, making space. Going to a guard where his feet are not connected. He's trying to connect his feet, whether it's shoelaces or the bottom of his feet, to top player. Now he's got his shoelaces connected. And he's using this to sit up, which I think he's looking at the collar again. Guy's going to butter cut right through that. Little knee slice right through that. Looks like he's a little trapped. I think he's got an ankle injury. He had like this really ugly, pretty solid looking ankle brace on there. So maybe his foot got stuck because of that. Couldn't point his toe to slide through. So we got half guard. Pinned half guard with some elbow separation. Trevor gets his elbow back in, makes space. They're all tied up in that belt too. The belt is just like came off. Trevor's working on that collar again. I couldn't tell if it was good use of his energy or not. I couldn't tell from my position. It's really hard to tell when sometimes you can't see. So we do have some kind of like loop choke pressure there, like just on the guy's throat, so he can't like get closer. As he tries to get closer there, that choke starts to get tighter. So Trevor's doing a good job staying on his side. Top player's doing a good job just maintaining his balance and looking for strong connections to use to get his leg free or to threaten submission, because this is submission only. So this is 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. If nobody gets a submission, guys, they both get eliminated in the next guy's fight. If one of them gets a submission, they immediately win, and then the next guy comes out and immediately goes up and fights, like with little to no break, like less than 10 seconds. The real event, like the main battle, is coming in April 26th, about 3 weeks from this video, 2-3 weeks from this video, right after Easter, I think. So we were playing with this game here in the training room because I noticed that there was a problem with getting stuck in people's stalling closed guards. So he's using these armpit grips. I believe he called them nipple grips or something funny. But it's like you're opening their lapels and stapling their shoulders to the mat, keeping them pinned. There is a transitional phase where you have to like change from this to pulling up on the sleeve, and he gets it. So yes, he gets it. Keep the opponent's feet off of you as top player is going to be a big deal. Don't let their feet connect strong, because that's how you get pushed and pulled, by their feet combined with their hands. We just did a nice little slide over, right over the knee line there, because the feet weren't connected, and he gets under the arm, really far under the arm. So we have elbow separation, chest to chest pinning, crossbody kind of control. I think he was looking at doing an Ezekiel choke, but I don't know, personally don't know if that was like there or not. I don't know if I've ever seen that one. Right there, he almost had that Americana set up. Like, he just missed it. I saw him like kind of grab it as the hand moved. He could have taken this guy's back here, perhaps, if he just stepped around that leg. Right here, he could take this guy's back. It's getting close. His leg is a little bit stuck, so, extracted his knee line, and now he's going to pull the guy and try to get... Sorry, guys, sometimes when I get into it and I'm, like, watching the match, I'm holding the camera, and, like, I'm not looking at the camera, and the camera will end up... The guillotine with the hips near the head can be a finish, but I don't know if he had a good grip or if he had good closure, so they both get eliminated, no sub. Now we're getting ready for the next guys. Purple belt versus purple belt. Well, we never met these guys. We never saw any of these guys roll, so it's all just a surprise. It's just as good as a tournament competition kind of feeling. All the nerves are there. So we get tied up right on the feet, goes straight to a triangle. Like he pulled guard right to a triangle, but I think Nick Blue Gi is Nick. I think Nick is a little savvy to that. And he's turning the corner, and then he goes the other way through the legs. So this is the first quintet, guys. There's going to be another quintet. As soon as this team versus team ends, a second team from Forge steps up, a much bigger team, and they fight the same guys that we put out. So our guys get to fight twice, 2 quintets in one day. So if you stick with the video, once these first 5 matches are over, we're going to go ahead and start the next quintet. It's in the same video, so stick around and watch. So we get connected hands, we get elbow separation, he's underneath the elbows. A lot of what you're doing on top of people and on behind people is staying in the space between their elbow and their ribs. And that's what Nick's working on. Now, I actually have been watching him, obviously, he's one of my guys, but really watching him in action much more recently. I got to see him compete like all the time on the weekends since we're doing this. And Nick does a good job. At some point, he's going to get to side control, and he's going to have the hands separated. He does a really good job of like just staying in that state. He just stays in chest-to-chest pin with hands separated. But this guy had a really good defensive grip on the collar there with the frame and the neck. Like, it's a pretty decent grip there. It's like not going anywhere. And I noticed that that was an issue for Nick for a little while. I think until he frees his legs. So he's working on keeping this guy flat. Don't let him get on his side. Don't let him get his hips out. And the guy's trying to move. He's trying to buck. He's trying to do anything he can to not be in this situation. Nick is under that elbow, but he's got to watch the reroll. And look, he based his right hand there. It stopped the reroll. Great balance. He's obviously felt this before. That belt grip. That belt grip, if he gets a butterfly hook and starts to get it, the bottom player starts to get into like butterfly sweeps scenarios with that, but it's just not going to happen right now. There's too much immobilization going on. So we got that collar grip with the hip post. Bottom guy's trying to just make space, get this guy off his chest, destabilize top player, and now Nick moves into the next cycle. So he's going to look at his feet. They're busy. They're doing something. His feet are constantly monitoring the wrist and elbow here. I don't know if he's aware of doing this or not. I think it's just automatically happening. He does this to everyone. So he's always separating. This guy's gi's coming off, actually. So Nick's always there. I see him there almost every time he does one of these quintets or competes or anything. Rolling in the room too. He always gets here. It's like a mounted crucifix. I think further on, I just have him harass the neck a little bit. I know he's like really trying to stay there right now. He's just riding the wave there. So letting the bottom guy kind of burn out. He's got 2 minutes to work. You know, if he harassed the neck, there are some ways you can get that throat. Yeah, he's working on it actually. Because on the top, in this position, you're separating their hands. That's the condition you want. Keep their hands away from the other hand. Then we can isolate limbs. That's kind of what we're doing here, is isolating limbs. So the neck is isolated from the hands are isolated from the hands, and we have a pinned guy who's wearing this cloth that you can strangle him with. So we do have a lot of conditions here being met for preconditions for submissions or more isolation. But Nick really held this down for a long time in this condition and just wore this guy out. Well, now the guy's hand is no longer pinned. He's got just his shoulders pinned by the hips now. And he gets his hand in. And once his hands are no longer separated, you see how fast that condition, losing that condition on top, led to all of this, which is a guillotine, rolling back. Nick rolled over it. Nick passed the guard again as the guy pulled down. I think the guy's exhausted. They wanted to stop or something. I don't know. I'm not sure if the guy wanted to stop. But now he's going for this. He gets like kind of elevated and just misses this. So close here too. Yeah, that guy just had the fight in him to immobilize, to get his shoulders mobile. I'm sorry. If you noticed, he like sat up for a second. And then he hides that wrist again so he can't get the wrist pin. And it's just what Nick's doing. It's Nick's little game that he likes to play when he gets on top of people. He just keeps your hands separated. He's doing it again. And as soon as those hands, he keeps them separated, even switching sides. So I don't know if he realizes that he's doing this, guys. Or he's deliberately doing this. That would have been a cool little moment there. We had like 5 seconds left. And the guys knew, like, all right, it's over. That little armbar at the end where he just slipped off. Really good match. All right, White Gi is just a really speedy guy. Very excellent wrestler. I think he takes down every one of the guys he touches. Pretty sure. He did both quintets. Yeah, these guys started to get close. Anthony's doing this kind of like grab you and shake you thing. Not really sure what his intentions are, why he's doing it. Like, what's the next move? So they tie up. He's trying to snap. He can't get the snap. Guy's head's lower than Anthony's, so he's showing me that he's at least some kind of wrestler. He's got his head underneath Anthony's in the inside space. Got Anthony's head outside. You see he's pushing his head up and away, or he's snapping his head down towards the mat. Now they're head to head, so they're neutral. 2 grips each. Pretty neutral. Anthony's getting his elbow opened up. Then returning back to neutral. He's a strong kid, so. And I say kid because he's 18. The guy in the black gi. He's 18 years old. He's doing okay. So that was just a little, not even like a trip. I think he just fell over or something. Anyway, this is submission only, so it doesn't really make a difference. But that would have been 2 points for White Gi. we have stapled half guard trying to get on our side. Now his arms are separated, his hands are on the outside, gets his hand back inside, but head control is established and or flattened, so it's inevitable to get past or just get flattened out for however long top player wants to do it. I see a lot of hand and head attention, like from the bottom guy, Anthony, but he's not using his legs to destabilize in any way. Like, there's ways to destabilize and chop left and right to get the top player when he's super connected to you and smaller than you. There's ways to block his posts and roll him over. He's pushing him down, but, you know, when I say this John Wayne sweep, guys, when I say the other direction, I don't know what it's called, but those two directions are also like ways we're trying to destabilize, even though we're on our back. And he's got it. I see it. Like, I see it's there, but he's just not going for it. Maybe he feels that it's not there, or he just doesn't know that route or that affordance. So I'll try to help him game on this right here, because he does get stuck here for quite a while. I mean, we all get stuck here, guys, but I just don't see him going for any destabilizations that to the left or right. He's just like playing on the inside with his head and hands, a lot of attention up high. So that's just something to note for later. And top players just holding him down, trying to free his leg. I believe that that's really all he's looking for, is get mount or get side control. Right here, gi chokes and stuff start happening, but Anthony flattened out again, so they're kind of like back to the elbow separation game. When the guy's much bigger than you, being in mount isn't always the best option. High up is good, but it's not always the best option for the little guy on top. Not that he's little, but he's much smaller than Anthony. Because when the big guy decides to roll, you're attached to him, like, and if you don't have a post in that direction, you're going over. So Anthony eventually will get out of this. Look, see exactly what I'm saying. He stopped the post, pushed him over, and he destabilized him laterally, and then got on top. And now we get to see a little bit of rolling before it settles. So you see, it's in this. There's no closeness yet. We're getting closer and closer, closer and closer, and now we have closeness, and it settles. The whole system just slowed down. It actually kind of dead stopped, and now everybody's like, okay, we're here. Let's start working. Guy grabs that grip with the intention of probably trying to get to his knees and using that as like a single leg kind of over the far side. But I don't know size difference. Now his hand's separated as well. So if I felt that hand go down there, I'd probably keep it separated, but I wouldn't let him put it where he wants it. If this is an IBJJF rule set, I'm not sure if that's a reap or not, guys. I don't really care too much about that rule set, but I think it's a reap. Like, it's that side lateral pressure is on the knee. He does have his leg over. So I don't know. This guy had a big sweep of opportunity like the other way, but I guess Anthony just kind of is, again, hard based. He's hard to like knock over. And we get another guard pass. I'm not keeping track of what the points might be, but hypothetically, I think they're pretty close on points at this point. I think bottom player is still technically winning because he had a takedown, a guard pass, and he full mounted. So that's like 9 points. And Anthony just passed the guard twice. So that's 4 or 6 points. I don't know. I don't really care about that stuff too much. We looked like a bat choke was coming, but a no-gi bat choke in the gi. So that actually made space for bottom player, who's getting his legs back on Anthony. He keeps connecting his legs to Anthony, trying to get his feet back in. And then the game ends, and these guys are both DQ'd. Well, not DQ'd, but they're neither wins, so they go to the next guy. This is a cool match. His opponent looked like a guy like straight from Brazil or something. He had like the ears and the tan and the purple belt and the cool gi, and you know, I thought he looked a little intimidating. So here we go. Derek pulled guard, which, you know, I don't really see many people like deal with Derek that well from here. I guess when there's a huge size difference, it's different. I've seen him one time deal with a larger guy and get a little bit in trouble, but actually that guy's over there in the corner. He was at one of the previous quintets, if you watch that. That's Big Dean from Kyoto. Anyway, this is a cool exchange here. Derek's just playing the game. Just keeping this guy in guard, managing distance, while he plays around and figures out exactly what he wants to go for. And keep his feet on the top player, keep his shoelaces and the bottom of his feet connected, manage space, don't let him pin your legs, flank your legs, or split your legs. Now he's got to get his foot back on the guy, he's going for it. Little back take kind of option here, which I thought was going to start happening in just about. That was really, really cool, guys. Right to mount. I would go watch that again and again and again, and it'd be really hard for me to reproduce that. I know it was probably super simple, but it just was super cool to see creativity like that. 'Cause I don't know if I've ever seen Derek do that thing, whatever the hell that's called. And then we have Derek on top and mount, trying to get behind. His hip line's connected to the shoulder line, which is a good thing, but we have to keep the hands separated. And the hands are connected, so it offers resistance. And then that arm gets it disconnects so fast, I think that the guy slips out. All right, so we're there. That's close, and then it just slipped out. It's okay. Right into a triangle, guys. Did you see it? I blinked, and I'm like, he transitioned so nicely between those two attacks that I just was so impressed. It was very, very interesting to see all that come out of him. Just being creative and having some fun out there. This purple belt that comes out is really, really good. Like, it's just very good. Fast, deliberate. This is an interesting pass right here. Just gets to the knee line and knocks it over. Gets right behind him. Instantly goes to the collar. And now we have a deep collar grip that's usually not good. It's one of the most powerful submissions in the game right here. So once he gets his hips closer to Derek's shoulders, it's over. It's like a bow and arrow choke. We got Joe going in here. I don't think the guy realized that he's up right now, like immediately. I don't know how. Oh, never mind. Usually the guy runs out and you just start fighting immediately if you win. So we have some Joe guard. He's playing some guard. I think he's been hunting and playing with this ankle lock, straight ankle, for a long time. We were playing with lapel stuff last week, so now he just fed the lapel in and he's playing some kind of lapel ash. He got a 2-point sweep, but nobody cares because it's submission only. So pull guard, sweep, get on top. Loop choke is on, and it looked tight. Joe gets out. Frees his head. Bottom player's feet are connected. That is not good for top player. Joe's got to get inside the guy's feet and get the feet off of him. Bottoms of the feet and the shoelaces off. Connections behind the knees, remove them. I think if you guys are on cellular devices or tablets, you can zoom in if you'd like to. I was going to do all that, but I just don't feel like editing this whole video in that way. This looks like half guard. The match last week Joe had, a week before this, we were at a sanctioned event Pride. And Joe got gold there in his division for blue belt. So this scenario is what he got stuck in only a week ago. He got stuck in that half guard that the guy was playing. Another tight loop choke. Right back to Shigarami. And now I thought if he stayed belly down there, he would have got a I don't know how tight that felt. I really don't. Usually against shorter people, if someone's shorter than me, straight ankle locks feel overpowered, but heel hooks are tougher. That's just something I noticed. And against taller guys, it's usually harder for me to get straight ankles. That's just for me. And easier for me to get heel hooks, just the way our bodies fit. So here we have that same half guard with the knee shield continuously happening. Don't know if Joe's passed it yet, so we do get stuck here quite a bit. Yeah, if the camera goes crooked, guys, that's because I'm not even looking at it and I'm invested in what's going on. I didn't even notice that side switch. Like, the whole thing just went to the other side. It just happened fast. We were playing with this wrist pin lapel, so I don't know if you guys can see it, but Joe's pinning the wrist, and I had them play a bunch of games here with that, trying to separate the elbow up and just maintain that. It's a really strong way to have one-handed control of the far elbow and the head, thus pinning the shoulders with one arm, while your other hand can like work, whether it needs to help your leg or continually push that elbow higher and higher. I think Joe was hunting also the grip switch that we do there for this choke that we were playing with. I had them play a game where like I would just start them with the lapel in a specific configuration and have them maintain it without choking their friend on the bottom, and let the bottom guy like figure out how to get his head out, which we only just played like one time last week, guys, so give us some time to develop that. Usually I teach no gi, so all these gi guys, these are all no gi guys wearing the gi generally from my team. Joe's trained probably the most in the gi. Derek's trained probably the most in the gi. Alright, looks like a passing situation there. And Joe just keeps splitting the legs. Splitting the legs. He has a really nice pass right into arm isolation. But the diagonal, I think he could have went like with a triangle over the back there, but smelling that arm. So we're going in. Triangle there's popping up, and then right to the leg, suck the leg in, K guard, right to the leg. Knee bars were illegal, guys, so if Joe saw that, he probably just transitioned from it. And then we did get a pass, so Joe did get to pass the guard right to connecting his hips to the shoulder line, which is really nice to threaten immediately. We got a triangle threat here. Joe turns and nullifies the threat. Back to a half guard with a flatness. He's flattened him out. He's working something here. That lapel's around the back. It's like a lapel darce kind of. Thing you got to worry about when you do that is like maybe you can get armbarred if the guy's hips connect to your shoulder line. But we're getting there. It's getting so close. You got 10 seconds, though, usually. And then he's going to switch to the armbar, and then triangle, and it's over. So Joe ended in a really good spot, but nobody submitted nobody. So we're going to go to the... I think this is the end of that quintet. We get to a overtime, like a coin flip, basically. Just they send two guys out. First to score. I'm sorry. First to score wins the whole event. Basically, that's how this works with the overtime thing. Not sure I love that, but whatever. Yeah, I'm not sure I love that rule, but it I guess fine. So we're here plotting. We're like, you know what? Let's send out Nick. And then they send out their best takedown guy. Could have sent Joe out. Because Joe could pull guard. That doesn't count as a score. And then good luck for anybody trying to either pass that thing and not get sweeped, right? Or get submitted. So, I don't know. That could be another option in the future. Just to pick a different guy for a different strat. Because this guy's strongest suit is probably his stand-up and takedowns. Not that I've analyzed him in any way. I just think they probably sent him out because he's the most likely to get the first point and score first. Well, that all goes away if your guy decides to pull guard. Doesn't count as a point. So he gets to stabilize top and finish with a fireman's carry, which wins Forge the entire quintet right there. That's how that one wraps up. So this is the second quintet, guys. This is a new one, new guys, same day, like 10 minutes later. Different order of events, so right to a blast double. Immediately put on the floor. Sub only. If you guys notice, one leg was over, one leg was in. That's not really great for bottom player. So we want to have 2 in or 2 out. Generally speaking, you don't want to be in what I've heard referred to as a G position, which kind of looks like a G if you look at their legs. I'm not too crazy about names, but I'm just trying to communicate verbally. A pretty abstract system that's interacting here. So we have an illegal grip with the right hand, no problem. Go right to an omoplata, right to a sweep. Guy connects to the hips, and it comes out of that on top, past the guard completely. Pick up the elbow to flatten him out, yeah. I've actually been injured by that. Like, I was on top, and somebody, I was like many years ago, but the Americana from bottom side control. It did not lead us to any kind of good place, though. We are now pinned in mount with a equally sized opponent. Armbar. Someone said pull out, but usually you want to drive in with an armbar. You don't really want to just pull your arm out. Could make it worse. Right to a triangle. Get past the triangle, so now we are exactly opposite. Pinning shoulders, looking to get under elbows. Get completely re-rolled. That's a pretty cool little move. We've seen that happen. Right to mount. Elbows are high. This looks good for top player. Armbar right there could have happened. Pinning the wrists might be something he's looking for. Don't know what he was doing with the collars in there. Can't see it. Just looking for S-mount for a second. I mean, Anthony's keeping the guy's knees off the mat, which is good. And then he gets to at least one leg controlled. A little Kimura action there, but gives up on it. Doesn't monitor that hand, and he lets his head get controlled. Top player is controlling the head, controlling the hips. Back to mount. And that's a high mount. It's a very tough place to come out of without getting submitted. Little smother action, little neck cranking, right to an armbar. Once the guy goes under him, yeah, there we go. We get out. He's still in some threat. Until then, looking to pass, get the feet off of you, keep the guy on the floor, don't let him get up. Block the hips, cover the chest. Moving to north-south, doesn't pin with it, so the guy gets mobile. Gets behind the guy, here's a mistake. Riding high and falling off. Just kind of like rides really high and falls off, and then no leg control at all, eventually pins himself. Back to the mount again. He's got to survive for a third or fourth time in this mount. Little punch choke coming in there. Don't know how much time they have left. It's got to be like a minute or two. Yep, we got mount. Looking for wrist pin, looking for elbow separation. But Anthony's just pretty strong in the arms there, so he's having a hard time. Top player's having a hard time there. And now that would do it. He gets the tap there. Just an arm bar. Just a nice belly down kind of arm bar. We got Derek here. Immediately defending his connections behind the knee. Don't let him get it. I think he's looking to get favorable positioning so he can pull guard. There we go. And he likes to do that. It's fine by me. In a submission only. It gets the job going. Right to a triangle. The secret technique of pulling his gi over his head like Cornholio is exactly what got Derek that sweep. And now we're in some kind of like wedged mount. All Derek's trying to do is pin this guy, keep him flat, and look for some kind of opportunity while staying on top. Gotta watch that. When a bigger guy, I'm telling you, we see it over and over again. These are experienced grapplers. You'll see a big guy get mounted by a smaller guy and just completely flip over, and the smaller guy's coming with him for a ride, especially if he doesn't have a base. Back to the triangle. Yep. And that's the old Derek triangle. Again. Right back to a triangle. He's got a real sneaky way of just making that happen. So, Derek doing good with the tap there. Let's see what else we got from Derek. Much bigger opponent here. Got close guard. I think I was yelling at Derek, get behind him, because just the way the guy, it looked like he was allowing his arm to go across. But now we're in this stalling position. I don't know. I'm not sure what Derek was doing with that, but that would scare me. I'd be like, all right, I don't know what the hell this guy's doing. Is it a bat choke from the bottom? Like, it looks like a bat choke grip. And then he's got a like knee in there, so I don't know if Derek's just being creative and having some fun. That's fine with me. I like it. This guy's still stuck in that guard. He gets a guard pass for a split second. Doesn't finish it because of the high leg. Derek put his knee frame in, high legged his foot on, and then the guy was like, all right, that's going to make space. Now we're working here. Right here, there's a big off balance you could make on top player, but I don't know if it was available or if it felt like he could do it. But we do have that high knee shield, kind of almost like a lasso, and they're palm to palm. Guy's trying to cut through it. getting through. Little threat here. Right to the far side armbar. Right to a triangle. Nullified both attacks. Survived that. Now we're playing the game of wait till he opens his legs and pass, or stand up and make him open his legs. Either way, he opens his legs. Looks like a scissor sweep. Pin the legs. Move around it. It was kind of cool. He goes to the other side. And he has this like gi ripping in there. Looked pretty ugly. Yeah, that was a pretty interesting little series of events at the end there. Pretty interesting gi choke as well. Now we got Trevor going out. Just looking to make the guy step, get a feel for what the guy's capable of, kind of feel him out a little. That would have been cool. A little outside foot sweep. I really think Trevor had like a shoulder throw like there. He could have just went, I don't know, the gripping, he's stopping that hand from posting. And the guy just, I don't know if that was a takedown or a guard pull, guys. It looked like an inside foot sweep of some kind, but who cares? We get behind the elbow. We get on top, stay above the guy. That was like not a good time, I don't think, to reset them, but whatever. Because now when he gets that grip, it's never in the same place twice. It could be better, it could be worse, but it's never the same one twice when he puts that really lethal grip in. So he does have a very good grip with his right hand. Trevor is in a good spot to tap out anybody with. This is like a really powerful attack, guys. I think I was yelling at Trevor a little bit here too. I wanted him to get that deep, set it up tight, and get his hips connected to the opponent's back and shoulders. Get your hip line connected to their shoulder line in some way. Wrap your legs around him up high. Keep him in front of you. Right here, when he wraps his leg, got closer, and then right here, got him just with this picture perfect, kind of cool looking. That was really cool looking. Just take a screenshot of that. We're gripped up right away. That was kind of interesting. He just kind of like left his leg there, and it like hit Trevor's leg and knocked him spinning. Just with one strong step. He made him take a strong step and interrupted the step with a strong turn. And then we have some guard play. You know, against a bigger opponent, you do want to try to like not be under them. And if you are under them, use it quickly to get up behind them or just back up. Because if he ever hypothetically passes that guard, you have a very much larger opponent pinning you, and that is just tiring. I see an armbar. I see it. I don't know if I'd go for it. I really don't. Against giant guys, I'm not too sure, depending on how I feel. That was cool. Nice little off balance, but then it got ugly. That happened actually a few times in this video. Not with just Trevor, but with like everyone. They would get this like real big scramble going. They would make a bunch of space, and then they would allow the other player to connect to their hips and put them back on the floor, which is a game we play. Game ends when you get your hips covered and they put on the floor. Some of you guys watching this who are my students or members will know what I'm talking about. Now we're in the old, he's just getting cooked. This is like tough spot to be. Flattened for a while. And just flattened and controlled by a much bigger opponent. That deep collar grip with the right hand is just really hard to look into. And then top players just... He tried to go to mount, and Trevor's legs were active, and he ended up in closed guard. I was telling Trevor to use his legs as hooks. Get a good connection with the upper body, and then use your legs as butterfly hooks so that you could at least have your body try to put this weight off of you. Back to closed guard, which is another tough place against a large opponent. You're not going to try... Like, I wouldn't triangle a guy his diameter. Big shoulders like that. My legs just don't fit. Some guys can. Even arm bars and stuff, guys. I would probably just use the closed guard to get behind. Like, use it to get behind. Get their arm across and try to get behind them. Or get under them some way. Like a K guard. Now we have what it looks like a paper cutter, which I don't know if you guys know what that is, but the right hand is just grabbing and you're just dropping your elbow next to the ear to try to push their throat and push their head up. And sometimes it taps people out, especially if you combine it with a grip under the shoulder behind the collar. So I did keep seeing the paper cutter choke. We see him try to pin wrists, and Trevor's just like really all over the defense here, all over the survival aspect. Just trying to keep his arms from getting separated. We play a lot of this stuff, like get your elbows back to your torso games. And top player, all he has to do is keep an elbow separated from the body. Continuous game until they get the win condition on bottom. Could be a while. So the elbow is separated, and then actually when he went for that, Trevor sucked his elbow back into his torso and then got the guy out from under his elbow. So nicely done. Just surviving. Top players just throwing one submission attempt after another, or at least trying to get to a condition that would lead to that. And Trevor's good at like stopping it from happening. We are getting a little bit of a collar grip here, and that is getting closer. It's getting closer. That's almost a paper cutter. Almost. There's one grip that needs to be there, but it's not. And he never went for it. We're just back to getting controlled, but keeping elbows in, not letting our wrists get pinned, and just surviving until we get a chance again. So closed guard led to this, and then there was a big destabilization and a scramble. And the scramble, he allowed Angel to get connections to his hips during the scramble, put him on the floor. And that led to staying on the floor and being passed. But pros and cons, there's a lot of things to take away from all of these matches. I don't want to overanalyze either, guys. This is just one example of their performance. We have to look over a long period of time to judge anything. But if there is an overt kind of tactical thing we can try to play with to get them to see something new that they don't see already, we can do that. This match is actually very, very high energy and exciting. There's a moment where it gets a little slowed down, but as soon as it gets back moving, it's ridiculous. There are some transitions in this match and some exchanges that are so complex, it would be hard to reproduce at all, ever. So right now it's just Dean fought our guys a few weeks ago at a different quintet. He's a feature in the tournament, so he just showed up to this one, and first thing I said to him was, "Aren't you going to put your gi on?" And he goes, "All right." And he puts his gi on, and then this is actually, I think, a rematch. I believe they fought already 2 weeks ago, so you could compare the matches. Both you guys, if you'd like to, go watch the match you had. Go watch this match, see if anything changed. Wonder what that was. Putting the knee in front of the elbow there. Now, I've seen Dean hit gi chokes. I've seen Dean absolutely abuse people with knee on belly, so his top game is not like a fun one to be experiencing on the bottom. Lucky for me, I've never had to do that. I think he's setting up that knee on belly kind of pop-up thing right now. I think so, yeah. And Nick was like ahead of it because he just didn't want it to happen. So he moved in a way that I guess stopped it, made some space for himself, and now he's got his knee inside. But there is still cross-body control. He's got control of the far shoulder. Head is isolated. And then we spin a knee in, trying to unpin. Still getting put back on the floor, back to the pin. Stopping that grip from going on the throat, for sure. He had to stop that. And he did a good job getting behind the elbow and stopping it. His elbow being in the inside position is helping him survive right now, guys. There is another grip on the far side, I believe. You can call it a bucket grip. I've heard people call it that. And combined with this grip, this could be a submission. This is a paper cutter choke. He bails out on it. So there was a little fight there. And then once the high leg's in, he did make a lot of space for himself. But Dean rode that push and just redirected it and moved around the legs. Back to pinning, elbow separation, looking to get collar grips. One destabilization, get your legs back in, exactly. Now we're playing closed guard, breaking down the hands to the elbows. Dean kicked right through that, got a fat underhook, threw him down. Half guard flat. A few exchanges like in the last minute that go really crazy. I'm actually looking forward to watching them. Shoulder of justice. I think he was singing to him, guys. Like they were talking a little, and Dean started singing a song to him. He went to mount. Dean detected that Nick knew, like there was a little moment there where he went to go mount. Nick responded really fast and in a certain way that made Dean say, "No, you know what? I'm going to get my leg back over here and not continue mounting." So there's like a minute left, I think. There's a choke there when you step over, but that's what happened. All right, here's a crazy. So here comes the really cool scrambly, guard passy craziness. Just a big, long exchange and then they settle for a minute. Yeah, right at the end there was just some interesting exchanges back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then we got the finale, which kind of ended on a bittersweet note. It was a little bit weird. Like, I didn't want to see someone get hurt, but I think... So the guy in the white gi gets his nose kind of smashed. We're about to see it happen. Like during the guard pull or something. His nose comes down on Joe's knee really hard. And I thought he tapped. But Joe didn't... I don't think he stopped until the guy really tapped. I don't know. There was just a little gray area at the end of this match. But this is the final thing here. Right there, bam. He hit his nose on Joe's knee there. And then Joe threw a loop choke in with the lapel. And either way, the guy got injured, so it was not good. We had blood on the mat. And you know what? I believe I'll cut it there. And just, that'll be the end of it. I don't want to carry this on, but I'd go ahead and clean the mat up and stuff. Yep, just had to clean that up. He did get a really bad nose injury there. Didn't look too good. But we managed to go the whole day without anybody getting hurt after all these competitive matches. And we finish on that note, which for me is not something I want to see. I hate when I see competitors get hurt, whether it's our guy or their guy. It's not really why we're here. It's not really what we're doing. But freak accidents occur. So just kind of everybody wrapping up here. Joe wanted some more. He was like ready for more. And then we did a little group picture. And that's that. Keep your eyes peeled for the fights in a couple weeks. That'll be up on here too. So peace.